Yeah, yun, which is wine. Wayasha'ala, which means to Israel. Har, which is horns. And Majum in the room, which means stand. So Punya Hakwadum, turn and face east. You're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shabbat, Kodash Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwatka, Kabah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathanuno, Lachum, Kalyawam, Wasalakmano, Kawathnua, Kasalaknu, Kawathino, Wala'ah, Tabayano, when I say a one, a ball, Hawashinu, Mayun, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wataparath, Laiwalunium, Amun. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Prayer for the power structure in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shai. Wa Mayaka Allah. Wa Lahayim. Matazab Ya'al Wap Yahana. Ha Lawapim. Ha Shrunim. Ha Kwazayanim. Ha Chayalim. Wa Ha Kwatim. Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. The Wad Amun. In the English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, Commanding General Yohanan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. The prayer for the prophesied curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel. They refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Posse Comitatus, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street. Open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels, the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushua, Michael, and Gabriel come down to flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause to be spread through the media, throughout the whole world. Cause him to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you always. So be it. Sorry, face the front. Yeshabim, which means be seated. Oh, we're right back here. Picking up where we left off last week, we were starting to get into the breakdown of the Ark of the Covenant. And so we're going to jump right back in the Hebrew from Exodus 25 and 11. Starting today at Exodus 25 and 11 in the Hebrew. Wataz Piyath, Athwa, Zahab, Zawar, Mabiyath, Wamakwatza, Latazapunwa, Waishiath, Aliwa Zar, Zahab, Sabiyab, verse 12, Waitazakwath, Lawa, Arbai, Tabaith, Zahab, Wanathatha, Al Arbai, Pa'aimathua, Washathia, Tabaith, Al Tazlaiwa, Ha'achath, Washathia, Tabaith, Al Tazlaiwa, Hashaniath, verse 13, Waishiath, Badya, Aitaziyah, Shatyam, Watazapiath, Athum Zahab, verse 14, Wahabaath, Ath, Habadyam, Batabaith, Al Tazalaith, Ha'aran, Lasha'ath, Ath Haran, Baham, verse 15, Batabaith, Ha'aran, Yahayawa, Habadyam, La'ah, Yasarwa, Mamunwa, verse 16, Wanathath, Al Ha'aran, Ath Ha'adath, Ashar, Athun, Al-Yaka, verse 17, Waishiath, Kaparath, Zaab, Tawar, Amathium, Wakatzayah, Araka, Wa'amah, Wakatzayah, Rakabah, and back to the English from verse 11 in chapter 25. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold. Within and without shalt thou overlay it, and shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof. And 2 rings shall be in the one side of it, and 2 rings in the other side of it. And thou shalt make staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, that the ark may be borne with them. So now these are those poles that you see coming out of the Ark of the Covenant, so that people can carry it like that. The staves shall be in the rings of the ark; they shall not be taken from it. So these were to never be moved. Everything is very specific with this Ark of the Covenant. These were not to be taken out and just put in where they were carrying them around. This is a part of the ark. And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof. The breadth meaning the width. So now back to the Hebrew in verse 18. Waishiathia, Shunium, Karabium, Zahab, Makwashah, the Aisha, Athum, Mashunya, Quatzawath, Hakaparath, verse 19. Aisha, Karwab, Akkad, Makwatza, Mazah, Wakarwab, Akkad, Makwatza, Mazah, Mun, Hakaparath, the Aishua, Ath, Hakarabium, Al Shunya, Quatzawathua, verse 20. Wahayua, Hakarabium, Parasha, Kanapium, Lama'ila, Sakakium, Bakanapium, Al Hakaparath, Wapunyahum, Ayash, Al Akua, Al Hakaparath, Yahayawa, Punya, Hakarabium, verse 21. Wanasath, Ath, Hakaparath, Al Haran, Walamila, Wa Al Aran, the son, Ath Ha'idath, Ashar, a son, Al-Yaka, verse 22. Wanawaidathia, Laka, Shum, Wadabarathia, Athka, Ma'al, Hakaparath, Mabayan, Shunya, Hakarabium, Ashar, Al-Aran, Ha'idath, Athkal, Ashar, Tazawath, Awathka, Al-Bunya, Asha'ala, verse 23. Wa'aishiath, Shalchan, Aitaziyah, Shatyum, Amathium, Arakwa, Wa'ama, Rakabwa, Wa'ama, Wakatziyah, Wamathwa, verse 24. Watazapiath, Athwa Zahab, Tawar, Waishiath, Lawa, Zar Zahab, Sabiyab. And back to the English. Verse 18, and thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold, of beaten work shalt thou make them, in the 2 ends of the mercy seat. So now that's why when you see the ark, you see the angels with the wings covering them like that. Verse 19, and make 1 cherub on the one end, and the other cherub on the other end. Even of the mercy seat shall you make the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings. And their faces shall look one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be. And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. And there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims which are upon the ark of the testimony of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel. Thou shalt also make a table of shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit the breadth thereof, and 1.5 cubits the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold round about. I'm going to jump back into the Hebrew. Verse 25. Washiath Lua, Masagarath, Tapa, Sabyab, Waishiath, Zar Zahab, Lamasagarathwa, Sabiyah, verse 26. Waishiathua, Arbai, Tobias, Zahab, Wanathath, Ath, Hatabias, Al Arbai, Hapa'ath, Ashar, Larabai, Regalua, verse 27. La'aimath, Hamasagarath, Dayan, Hatabaith, Balathium, Labadium, Lasha'ath, Ath, Hashalachan, verse 28. Waishiath, Ath Habadium, Aitziyah, Shatyum, Watazapiyath, Athum, Zahab, Manashah, Bum, Ath, Hashalachan, verse 29. Waishiath, Quirathua, Wakapayathua, Wakwashawathua, Woman of Yathua, Ashar, Yasak, Bahun, Zahab, Tawar, Ta'aisha, Athum, verse 30. Wanathath, Al, Hashalachan, Lachum, Punium, Lapunya, Thamiyad, verse 31. Waishiath, Manarath, Zahab, Tawar, Makwashah, Ta'aisha, Hamanwara, Waraka, Wakwana, Wabiaya, Kapatharia, Waparachia, Mamana, Yahiwa, and back to the English. For verse 25, and thou shalt make unto it a border of an hand breadth round about, and thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about, and thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that are on the 4 feet thereof. Over against the border shall the rings be for places of the staves to bear the table. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, that the table may be borne with them. And if you go and look up, the Ark of the Covenant, you can always find anything that you can always find a good image, and you'll be able to make out all these little details and everything as you go through it, because it's so specific that it's very easy for them to make a rendering or an artistic, recreation. In verse 27, over against the border shall the rings be for places of the staves to bear the table. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, that the table may be borne with them. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, and spoons thereof, and covers thereof, and bowls thereof, to cover withal. Of pure gold shalt thou make them. And thou shalt set upon the table showbread before me always. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold. Of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops, and his flowers shall be of the same. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it. 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. 3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knot and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch, with a knot and a flower, so that the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick. And in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds, with their knops and their flowers. And there shall be a knot under 2 branches of the same. And so as you see, we just went into the menorah with 3 branches coming out of each side. We're going to jump back to the Hebrew from 32. Washasha Quinium, Yatazayim, Matazadia, Shalasha Quinya, Manara, which is lampstand or candlestick, is Manara. Matazada, Ha'achad, Washalasha Quinya, Manara, Matazada, Hashunya. And just real quick, this is a reminder that anytime you see that the thing they call the menorah that they use in Hanukkah that has 8, that's something that they completely made up out of their own head. That's not in the scripture. The scripture describes this with 3 branches coming out of one side, 3 branches coming out of the other side, 6 branches total. And it's very, very, very simple. But they created this thing with 8 branches because they turned it into something that's like Hanukkah specific. And so because there's 8 days, now they got to have 8 branches, and they changed the whole story. But the menorah, the menorah, according to the scriptures, has 6 branches, 3 coming out of each side, and then this one candle right here in the middle. It's that simple. And so verse 33, Shalasha, Gabayim, Mashakwadium, Bakuna, Ha'achad, Kabathar, Waparach, Washalasha, Gabayim, Mashakwadium, Bakuna, Ha'achad, Kabathar, Waparak, Khan, Lashashath, Haquanium, Hayatazayum, Mun Hamanara, verse 34, Wabamanara, Arbaya, Gabayim, Mashaquadium, Kapathara, Waparachia, verse 35, Wakapathar, the Chath Shunya, Haquanium, Mamana, Wakapathar, the Chath Shunya, Haquanium, Mamana, Wakapathar, the Chath Shunya, Haquanium, Mamana, Lashashath, Haquanium, Hayatazayim, Mun Hamanara, verse 36, Kabatharat, Kabathayim, Yakunatham, Mamana, Yahawa, Kalab, Makusha, Achath, Zahab, Tawar, verse 37, Waishiath, Ath, Narathia, Shabaya, Waha'ila, Ath, Narathia, Wahayar, Al-Ibar, Punya, verse 38, Omalaquachia, Omakathathia, Zahab, Tawar, and back to the English. So in the back to the English. 3, where did we leave off? And in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds with their knops and their flowers, and there shall be a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that proceed out of the candlestick. And you can see the little details. Their knops and their branches shall be of the same, and it shall be 1 beaten work of pure gold. And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. So now, very specific. That eliminates their so-called Hanukkah menorahs. That eliminates all these little artistic, modernist menorahs that look like they came out of some, some type of abstract art museum. They got, the candles over here lined up, or the candles like this. No, and this is simple. It's 3 branches on each side, 1 candle in the middle. The knops, all these little details are straight from the scriptures. Verse 38, and the tongs thereof and the snuff dishes thereof shall be of pure gold. In 39, we're going to go back to the Hebrew. Kakar Zahab Tawar, Ya'isha Tha Athkal, Hakalium Ha'allah, verse 40. Wa'ra'ah Wa'isha Bathabanyathim Ashar Tha Mara'ah Bahar, chapter 26 and verse 1. Wa'ath Hamashakun, the Aisha, Aishar, Yari'aith, Shasha, Mashazar, Wathakalath, Waragman, Wathalaith, Shanya, Karabium, Aisha, Cheshab, the Aisha, Athum, verse 2. Arak, Hayuriai, Ha'achath, Shamanah, Wa'isharium, Ba'amah, Warachab, Arbai, Ba'amah, Hayuriai, Ha'achath, Madah, Achath, Lakal, Hayuriaith, verse 3. Chamash, Hayuriaith, the Hayyan, Havrath, Asha, Al Achath, Achatha, Wachamash, Yuriaith, Chabarath, Asha, Al Hachath, verse 4. Waishiath, Wala'ath, Zakalath, Al Shapat, Ayariah, Ha'achath, Makwadzah, Bachabarath, Wakan, the Aisha, Bashapat, Ayariah, Hakwayat Zawana, Bamakabarath, Hashaniyath, verse 5. Amashim, Lalaath, the Aisha, Bayariah, Achas, Wakamashim, Lalaath, the Aisha, Bakwatazah, Bayariah, Ashar, Bamakabarath, Hashaniyath, Makwabialath, Halalath, Asha, Al, Achatha. Back to the English from verse 39 of a talent of pure.
Pull out book, chapter, and verse so people know not to pull out the verse. Pull out book, chapter, and verse.
Okay.
So we can come in, so at least they know.
So we in Exodus chapter 25 and 39 now in the English. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it with all these vessels. And that's still talking about the menorah, the candlestick. And look that thou make them after their pattern, which was showed thee in the mount. So again, said make it after the way that we showed you. Don't make no postmodernist abstract menorahs with candles pointing everywhere and coming out the flat piece. Just make it like this. It's not artwork. This is a commandment. And it's got 3 branches on each side, 1 candlestick in the middle, not 4 on each side, not 8 total, or not 9 total. Just simple. Chapter 26 and verse 1. Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. The length of 1 curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the breadth of 1 curtain 4 cubits. And every one of the curtains shall have 1 measure. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the 1 curtain from the selve edge in the coupling. And likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain in the coupling of the second. 50 loops shalt thou make in the 1 curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make in the edge of the curtain that is in the coupling of the second, that the loops may take hold one of another. And now we're going to jump back to the Hebrew.
Just go book chapter and verse for the people who know and want to start in the Hebrew.
Now we're back to Exodus 26 and 6 in the Hebrew.
26 and 7.
You sure? I left off at 26 and 6, so I got to read it anyway.
Oh,
26 and 6. Waishayath, Chamashim, Korashia, Zahab, Ochabarath, Ath Hayaryath, Asha, Alakatha, Bakurashim, Yahaya, Hamashak, Hamashakun, Achad, verse 7. Waishayath, Yariaith, Izum, Lahal, Al, Hamashakun, Aishathia, Aishura, Yariaith, the Aisha, Athum, verse 8. Barak, Hayaryath, Hachath, Shalashim, Baalma, Archab, Arbai, Baalma, Wayariah, Hachath, Madah, Achath, Laishathia, Aishara, Yariaith, verse 9. Wachabarath, Athchamash, Hayariaith, Labad, Wa'ath, Shasha, Hayariaith, Labad, Wakapalath, Ath, Hayariah, Hashashiath, Al Mawal, Punya, Ha'ahal, verse 10. Waishiath, Chamashim, Lala'ath, Al Shapat, Hayariah, Ha'achath, Hakoyatzana, Bachabarath, Wachamashin, Lal'ath, Al Shapat, Hayariah, Hachabarath, Hashaniath, verse 11. Waishiath, Korashia, Nakashath, Chamashim, Waba'ath, Ath, Hakurashim, Bala'ath, Wakabarath, Ath, Ha'ahal, Wahaya Achad, verse 12. Wasarach, Ha'idap, Bayariaith, Ha'ahal, Hadazayah, Hayariah, Ha'idapath, the Sarach al Acharya, Hamashakun, and back to the English from 26 and verse 8, the length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits, and the 11 curtains shall be all of one measure. And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves and 6 curtains by themselves, and shall double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the coupling, and 50 loops in the edge of the curtain which coupleth the second. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass, and put the taches into the loops, and couple the tent together that it may be one. And the remnant of the remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remaineth, shall hang over the backside of the tabernacle. And a cubit on the one side and a cubit on the other side of that which remaineth in the length of the curtains of the tent shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side and on that side to cover it. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram's skins dyed red, and a covering above of badger skins. And so I'm trying to find a good illustration, but if you look this up, you can see all these details. This is one of the few things that the white man can't really mess up in the scriptures, because it's so detailed when they try to make these artistic renderings. Just go look it up, and you'll be able to see all these details as we go. Back to the Hebrew, in chapter 26 and verse 13. Wahama mazah, wahama mazah, ba'idap, barak, yari aith, ha'ahol yahaya, sarawak, al tazadya, hamashakun, mazah, Wamazah, Makasathwa, Waishiath, Makasah, La Ahol, Irath, Ayalom, Ma'adumyum, Wamakasah, Irath, the Kashim, Malam Ayla, verse 15. Waishiath ath hakorashim amashakun aitaziyah shatyum imadium, verse 16. Aishra amawath arka hakorash wa'ama wa'katazaya Ha'amah, Rachab, HaKodash, Ha'achad, verse 17, Shathya, Yadwath, Lakorash, Ha'achad, Mashalabath, Asha, Al-Achatha, Khan, the Aisha, Lakal, Korasha, Hamashakan, verse 18, Waishiath, Ath, HaKorashim, Hamashakan, Aisharium, Korash, Lapa'ath, Nagabah, Dayamanah, in verse 19, Warabayim, Adunya, Kasap, the Aisha, the Chath, Aisharium, HaKorash, Shunya, Adunium, the Chath, HaKorash, Ha'achad, Washathya, Yadathua, Washunya Adunium, the Chath, HaKorash, Ha'achad, Washathya, Yadathua. And back to the English. Where were we? Verse 14.
Book, chapter, and verse.
Exodus chapter 26 and verse 14. Thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram's skins dyed red, and a covering above of badger skins. And thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth of one board. 2 tenons shall there be in one board, set in order one against the other. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make the boards for the tabernacle 20 boards on the south side southward, and thou shalt make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for his 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for his 2 tenons. Salakia. I think that might be it, and we might have just breezed through the whole thing. Oh, well, we got some time to say the white man's the devil. This is beautiful history to go through, and we get to learn, what our culture actually looks like and how these things look, and we get to remind you that the Ishman is not the carrier of this culture, because he reads this very exact description of a menorah and just adds branches and transforms it into an art piece and does whatever he wants to do with it. And that's a great synopsis of what they have done with these scriptures. They add, twist, and do whatever they want to do with it. They play around with it. They make it work for them, and not attempting to serve the Most High. But here we're going to teach you how to serve the Most High.
Have you break this down?
What we got?
I have to find it, and I'm just going to let you know the testimony. The Egyptian, the reason for them changing it around because they didn't want to be that. They want to be separate from it. So they're gonna do things that don't go with nothing.
You're not wrong, but really they're making it work for them, because they're using our scriptures to oppress not just us, but to oppress anybody else they're around. And that's never what these things were for. So, like, for example, they'll come into our neighborhoods and say, well, you only have to follow these laws with each other. So they'll come and treat us like garbage. They'll come and be slumlords, kick us out, charge usury, do anything under the sun, because they're using the scriptures instead of our kingdom. When you go into the prophecies of what it's going to be like after Christ returns, the whole world is going to be at harmony, because everybody's going to be keeping these laws. We're going to be in charge, and we're going to be enforcing these laws, and that creates harmony on the planet. But what they do is they go through the planet and use these laws to create, to oppress people, to make people hate them, to just do anything that they can to get a one-up. And now they have this stereotype where, they have the stereotype of only caring about money, doing anything to get ahead, because that's how they've used these scriptures, and that's all wrong. But you had a scripture?
This one right here. How they twist the scripture and do it wrong.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful scripture. So they got Deuteronomy 6:8, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. This is talking about the law, right? And anybody, certainly any nigga, but anybody with any sense of like language would read this and understand that this is talking about the law guiding you, the law being attached to you. They take it and they write some Torah passages on a piece of paper and strap it to their head and strap it to their hands. Meanwhile, they go and, molest children and rob and steal from people and everything else. But then they just come home, tie a Torah passage to their forehead. That's goofy. That's goofy. They got, do you have the, what do they call them? The phylacteries? Yeah. Oh, there go Nissan Black. That you clown, man. Nissan Black, who anybody out there knows him, that cat is an absolute clown. He's He even got the whole like the accent and everything. This is a cat from the Bay Area, and if you hear him talk, he sounds like an old Jewish man who English wasn't even his first language. Yeah, this is what they do. Let's take a look at this. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Leonard Gesher, Stan Pet, Wadi Allah, Roland Israel. Go ahead, sis.
Is the reason that they're doing all this is because they want to say they were chosen?
Yeah, but this is it, at some point down the line in history, they're just doing what they were told, and they believe that their rabbi whoever said that this is what that scripture means, and so they just do what they were told. This is a guy with a box strapped to his forehead with some Torah passage written on it, and he believes that he's keeping the scripture that says, "Bind him in between your eyes." Listen, if y'all think these are the chosen people, then be my guest. Be my guest. But this is behind. Listen, any sense of language, you understand that that's a figure of speech. That this is that the law is supposed to direct you and guide you and be a part of you at all times. But if you can just tie it to your forehead, then guess what you can do? You can untie it from your forehead and go out and molest children, which is what they do. And it all starts with adding a couple of branches to the menorah and thinking that you can, make up meanings of holidays that already have meanings of, holy days and feast days that have actual meanings.
Like also, the lineage come from their mother. They could just change it.
Yeah, everything. The lineage come. I don't know if anybody saw Officer Kazak having a battle on the phone with some old Jewish couple on lineage, because they will run themselves in circles and spin themselves dizzy trying to justify going through your mother when all we gotta do is, okay, we got the scripture right here in Numbers. It's right here, and the scripture in Numbers says that the children of Israel stood up and declared their houses and declared that. Well, I'm trying to find the Salak. Let me see if I can find it. The scripture in Numbers, and this is just and it said it so casually that it's like this is obvious, and it matches up as you go through the scripture. Every time you see a lineage being given, every time you see all the millions of times, I don't know about y'all, but when I grew up in a Christian house, that to me, that was like the boring part of the Bible. So and so begot so and so, who begot so and so, who begot so and so, who begot so. But that tells you that's the precept. Those are a million precepts, because that's a man begot a man, begot a man, begot a man, begot a man. That's your lineage through the house of your father.
Question.
Go ahead, sis.
Why would they do it through the mother and not the father?
You know what? That's a great question. Why would they? I would love to hear them explain this. And that's the point. They have no way of rationalizing this according to the scriptures. There's no way that they can justify that based on the Bible. They can't. It's not even something they can twist, spin. There's no way that they can justify that from the Bible. And it's a perfect example of they're just going to take it and turn this into something else that works for them. But it's beautiful, because once you realize that they have absolutely no claim, even if somehow they could claim that they somehow descended from the Israelites, they don't even know who's who if they're going by their mother. They have no claim to these scriptures. Oh no, let me grab it real quick. Go ahead, sis.
They could blame the progenitor of Esau on him losing his birthright for most of the food as to the reason why they're not chosen.
Yeah, and you're right, but that's deeper than they're willing to go. But here we go. You go to Numbers 1 and 2. It says, "Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families." 1 and 2. After their families, by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their polls. And then when you go to 1 and 18, and they assembled all on the congregation together on the first day of the second month, as they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So they declared their pedigrees the only way that they could in our nation and in our culture, by the house of their father, by saying, I am the son of this man who is the son of this man who goes all the way up and is the son of Jacob. That's it. So that's how we know they're not the people. That's one of many reasons, in many ways, that we know that they're not the people. But the scripture makes it clear. And then once you can unravel that they're not the people, then you can start going into all the prophecies that show and connect to who the people really are. And how could they be the people, man? Look at these characters. You know what's going viral again today on Twitter? The all-time classic. Let me pull this up. The all-time classic. Let's see. And just like you said, just shout out to General Mayak. All these years on the streets of Philly. When was this? In 2005 or something?
Salaki, if I may. Remember Priest and Captain Tazaya on Kill String, and those white people
that's
played,
made it go viral.
But it ain't no cat. You know what I mean? Like cat, they didn't know that cat. You know what I'm saying? No Priest and General Mayak. They didn't know that, you know what I mean? That he raised them up. Yeah. So it was like, hold up, do you know this guy right here? Like, yeah, that's what it is. And it was like, can you please? They was begging, can you please replay his. You know what I mean? Skit. Yeah. They've been playing that skit for years.
Yeah.
Years. But they didn't know Cat was underneath, you know what I'm saying? This person right here that raised them up. Yeah, no, they love that clip. But that's a legend in the game right there, General Mayak. Shout out to General Mayak Allah. But those are not the people, man. These little whiny, soft, weak, effeminate people who don't even know their lineage, who don't even know the scriptures, who don't care what the scripture says. These are not God's chosen people. But just like the brothers were saying on the streets of Philly all them years ago, they haven't gone through what we've gone through. They got a Holocaust. All right. What does that compare to the 99 million blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that were slaughtered on the slave trade, on the Spanish Inquisition, Salaki. Getting myself tongue-tied. But y'all understand. They slaughtered the Native Americans. They slaughtered them all through North, Central, and South America. They brought the slaves over. Whoever made it after that miserable horror movie of a ship ride over here, they slaughtered them mercilessly once they was here. Continued through 400 years of abuse and torment and murder. What does that compare to your 4 years, man? You want me 4 years they put you through it? All right, that was terrible. That was bad. They were mean to you guys.
And then after that, they gave you the whole earth into your hands. You want my pity? Not getting into that, sir.
Oh, you can't forget there was part of that.
Mm.
There was part of that.
Mm.
I mean, they wasn't standing by like, yo, don't do that to those people. No. They was participating.
No, yeah.
And remember,
Yeah.
the first 3 synagogues was built with slave labor in America.
Mm.
Everybody forgot about that?
Mm-mm.
You can look at the first synagogue in the United States.
Can you scroll down in the comments box? Yeah, we didn't forget. Ain't nobody forget. Yeah, these devils are diabolical. They know damn well they not.
Yeah, so, when you just finished talking about that, they was part of that. And we didn't even touch the person.
Yeah.
But you could stop that.
But no, exactly. But all that being said, it's good to go through these scriptures and know exactly what the ark is supposed to look like, to know exactly what the menorah and the tabernacle is supposed to look like. And everywhere through the scriptures, little reminders that the white man is the devil. They're not the children of God. These scriptures are our culture, and it's our job to be here and take them back. So with that, we're going to pick back up next week. Imagine up here. Shakar, which means horn. Yeah, young, which is wine. Like Yasha'Allah, which means to Israel. Imagine in the room. So Akadam, which means stand, turn, and face the east. You know, say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakaka, Tabah, Ratzaka, Hayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nathanunawa, Lacham, Kaliwan, Wasalachnunawa, Kowachnu, Katsalachnu, Kowachinawa, Wala'ah, Nabiyanawa. Banasai one, a ball, Kaushanawa, Mayun, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Kamalakwa, Waha'ala, Watha Parath, Laiwalamu, Amun. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ai Yanya, Al-Hahari, Mayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'an, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Waratza, Aliathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Alia the woman, Shemarka, Hana, La'aya the woman, Wala'aya Yashan, Shomar Yasha'al, Yahweh, Shemarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Aliyah, Yom Yunka, Yomum, Hashmash, La'aya Kaka, Wairaf Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Ra, Yashamar, Afna Pashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaatka, Wabawaka, Ma'aita, Wa'ada Walun. In the English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al Damayalaka, Al Karash, Wal Tashakwat, Allah, Kayahana, Awayabika, Yahama Yawan, Wamashanayaka, Nashawa, Ra'ash, Alaimaka, Yairayumwa, Sawaz, Wayathayax as a wa, Al Sabawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakirim, Wagoya, Wala'ah, Yazakar, Shum Yasha'al, Iwa, Kaya, Nawaix Zawa, Labia Khadwa, Aliyaka, Bariath, Yakarathwa, Ahalia, Arawam, Weshamalim, Wa'aba, Wahagaryum, Gabal, Wa'aimawan, Wa'aimalat, Palashaf, Ayn Yashabia, Tazawar, Galmashawar, Nalawa, Amam, Haywa, Zarwaz, Labunya Lawat, Salah, Aishalahum, Kamadin, Kasayashara, Kayabin, Manakal, Payashwan, Nashamadwa, Bayandara, Haywa, Dama, La Dama, Shatumwa, Nadayamua, Ira, Kazaba, Kazaba, Wakatazalmana, Kal Nasayakumwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayar Shah, Lanawa, Ath, Nawat, Alahayim, Alahayad, Shatumwa, Kagogla, Kakwash, Lapunyaraka, Kaash, Tabiri Ira, Wakalahaba, Dalahat, Haryam, Kandaradapma, Basiraka, Wabasopathka, Tabahalam, Mala'ah, Hunyaham, Palawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shumka, Yahawah, Yabashwa, Wayabahawa, Aidi, Wayakaparwa, Wayabadwa, Wayadaiwa, Kaya, Atha, Shumka, Yahawah, Labadka, Aliwan, I'll call her Ratazah. In the English, keep not thou silence on my power. Hold not thy peace. And be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them, as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabez, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red, and like Zed. Yea, all their princes as Zabah, and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the Most High in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood. And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire, so persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. Pray for the power structure in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shai? Why Mayaka Allah? Why Lahayim? Matazabi Allah Wap Yahana. Halawapi. Ha Sronya. Ha Kutsiyanya. Ha Kayali. Wahak Wafi. Yahweh. Bashim Yahweh Shai. The water Amun. In the English, bless you, Yahweh. And Yahweh Shai. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yohana. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troops. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. Pray for the prophesied curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh. King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel. They refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the Edomites, the nations, their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies. Amalek synagogues and armies, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Posse Comitatus, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, the gas and space program, the army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet, the airwaves, the cable access channels, and radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh Shai, Michael and Gabriel, come down to flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you always. So be it. Sorry, face the front. That concludes the Sabbath service. We're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim Barak, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Barakathum, Yajim Atah, Sorry, face the sister. I'm going to give one courtesy salute to the sister. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim Barak, Yahweh Shemal, Bashim Yahweh Shai. Yajim Atah, dismissed.
Next week, we're going to start at Exodus chapter 26, verse 20. Exodus chapter 26, verse 20. Shalom.